In our headlines on this Tuesday afternoon, June 18th, here in South Korea. Russian President Vladimir Putin is scheduled to arrive in North Korea later this evening for a two-day visit that includes talks with his North Korean counterpart, Kim Jong-un. And here on the local front, the Korea Medical Association is staging a massive rally here in capital Seoul in protest of government plans to expand the nation's medical school quota starting next year. Meanwhile, South Korea ranks 20th out of 67 nations in its ability to foster a favorable business environment, up 8 places compared to last year's performance, according to an annual assessment by a Swiss institution. North Korean troops briefly crossed the military demarcation line earlier on this Tuesday. According to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, some 20 to 30 North Korean soldiers intruded into the border at around 8:30 this morning. They returned to their side of the border after the South Korean military fired warning shots and ad warning messages. A similar intrusion took place on June 9th when North Korean troops appeared lost while working in the DMZ. Authorities here have detected increased North Korean activity along the border since April, including the installation of landmines and anti-tank barriers. In fact, there have reportedly been a number of casualties involving North Korean service members while placing landmines. And North Korea is poised to play host to Russia's Vladimir Putin for the first time in over 2 decades, starting later on this Tuesday evening, with a summit interaction scheduled for tomorrow, that is Wednesday. Our Shin Ha-young has the latest.
As confirmed by both the Kremlin and North Korea on Monday, Russian President Vladimir Putin will travel to North Korea on Tuesday for a 2-day visit before heading to Vietnam later in the week. This is his first visit to Pyongyang in 24 years since July 2000, when the North Korean leader Kim Jong-il and the Russian leader announced a joint declaration on friendly cooperation. It'll be Putin's third summit with leader Kim Jong-un following their second meeting last September. According to the Kremlin, Putin will arrive in Pyongyang on Tuesday evening and hold meetings on Wednesday. The Kremlin aide said the two leaders will sign several important agreements, which may include a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty outlining future cooperation and deal with security issues. They also plan to discuss issues including the economy, energy, transportation, and agriculture. Ahead of his visit, Putin said in a letter published in North Korea's Rodong-sinmun on Tuesday that he intends to alleviate relations with North Korea to a higher level. He added that they will develop alternative systems for trade and mutual settlements not strained by Western countries and jointly oppose their illegitimate restrictive measures. Meanwhile, the White House on Monday expressed concern over Putin's visit to Pyongyang, warning that it could deepen military cooperation between Russia and North Korea.
Not just because of the impacts it's going to have on the Ukrainian people, because we know North Korean ballistic missiles are still being used to hit Ukrainian targets, but because there could be some reciprocity here that could affect security on the Korean peninsula.
Experts say it's unlikely that an agreement on automatic military assistance will be included in talks between Putin and Kim due to the ongoing war in Ukraine. Such an agreement would mean that if either Russia or North Korea were attacked by a third party, the other would intervene. Instead, lower-level treaties on military cooperation could be considered, allowing for closer military consultations and, if needed, the provision of weapons between them, which would still violate UN Security Council resolutions on Pyongyang.
As a permanent member of the UN Security Council, if Russia makes new treaties with Pyongyang on military cooperation, it would be a clear violation of the UNSC resolutions, as the core of these is to cut off the flow of funds to North Korea, to stop the North's nuclear and missile development, and to halt all cooperation that would enhance the regime's military capabilities.
He added that it's important for the South Korean government to keep a close eye on all discussions between Moscow and Pyongyang and share them transparently with the international community to prevent excessive military cooperation that violates UN Security Council resolutions. Shin Ha-young, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, here in Seoul on this Tuesday, South Korean foreign policy and defense officials are sitting down with their Chinese counterparts for talks on regional security. Our correspondent Pyongyang reports.
This week is set to be a busy one of diplomacy on the Korean Peninsula. South Korea and China are scheduled to hold high-level talks between their foreign and defense officials on Tuesday, the same day that Russian President Vladimir Putin will likely visit Pyongyang. South Korea's foreign ministry announced Monday that the 2+2 meeting set to take place in Seoul will be led by Vice Foreign Minister Kim Yoon and his Chinese counterpart Sun Weidong. Defense officials at the Director General level from the two countries will also be joining the meeting. The two countries agreed to hold such talks last month when President Yoon Suk-yeol sat down for a separate bilateral meeting with Chinese Premier Li Chang on the sidelines of the trilateral summit with Japan. The dialogue was first established in June 2013 and was held that year and in 2015 between Director General level officials. The meeting has not taken place since then, amid strained bilateral relations, after South Korea agreed to deploy a U.S. missile defense shield called the THAAD system. During Tuesday's meeting, the two sides will likely discuss the recent situation on the Korean Peninsula, including the North's trash balloons and the South's decision to suspend the inter-Korean military agreement. South Korea is expected to once again ask China to play a constructive role in resolving North Korean issues and highlight the importance of communication between Seoul and Beijing to maintain peace in the region. All eyes are now on whether the upcoming meeting will help resume high-level communication channels between the two countries and have China keep a distance from the trilateral partnership between North Korea, China, and Russia getting stronger. 배은지, Arirang News.
In other news, doctors have taken to the streets here in capital Seoul today to partake in a massive walkout called by the Korean Medical Association. Our Yoon has details.
A rally held by the Korean Medical Association began in Seoul on Tuesday afternoon with 20,000 people expected to be taking part. On the same day, a nationwide strike of community doctors represented by the KMA kicked off. Over 70% of KMA members, when asked earlier this month, said they would participate in the walkout. However, according to the Health Ministry, 4% of medical institutions, including clinics and hospitals, indicated they will suspend services on Tuesday, although some of the doctors working at those institutes may not be affiliated with the KMA. In response, the government issued an order preventing healthcare facilities from closing, effective Tuesday morning.
The predetermined rate of hospital closure stands at about 4%. But to minimize medical service disruptions, we issued a business operation directive starting at 9 a.m. today.
He added that legal measures will be taken against hospitals or clinics that cancel medical appointments without prior notice to patients, which result in harm. The government on Monday reported the Korean Medical Association to Fair Trade Commission for encouraging refusal of treatment, which is illegal. In an effort to minimize severe medical disruptions starting Monday, the government implemented a rotational on-call system for emergency cases. Since Monday, medical professors at Seoul National University Hospital and its affiliate hospitals have been on an indefinite walkout. On the first day, the number of outpatient treatments at the hospital dropped by 27%. Medical professors at 3 hospitals affiliated with Yonsei University, including Severance Hospital, also plan to join the action from June 27th. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, professors at Seoul Asan Hospital have decided that they will begin a 1-week walkout on the 4th of July. With professors from other medical schools also discussing joining the indefinite walkout, the potential for such action to spread to all major hospitals in the country is becoming a heightened concern, particularly among patients. Yoon, Arirang News.
And President Yoon Suk-yeol has pledged to protect medical students from potential academic disruptions arising from the absence of professors at colleges. Speaking at a cabinet meeting earlier on this Tuesday, he also called the decision to partake in the collective action by medical practitioners regrettable and that the government would respond appropriately with priority placed on public health needs. Now, hopes for transparent dialogue were further shared to better bridge the gap over differences. Separately, President Yoon also touched upon his latest diplomatic agenda in Central Asia during the cabinet gathering, highlighting the deal sealed in minerals, energy, infrastructure and transport. He urged for productive follow-up measures to prepare for the first Korea-Central Asia Summit here in Seoul next year. Korea's capacity to create a productive business environment has noted a tangible improvement, according to an annual assessment by a Swiss-based institution. Our correspondent Lee Soo-jin reports.
South Korea saw its global competitiveness soar to a record high in rankings released by the Swiss-based International Institute for Management Development. According to the Finance Ministry on Tuesday, South Korea placed 20th overall out of 67 countries that were assessed in the 2024 IMD World Competitiveness Rankings, its highest ever. And it's also up 8 places compared to last year when it came in at 28th. The rankings, which are published in June each year, assess a country's ability to create a conducive business environment by rating them across 4 key areas, namely economic performance, government and business efficiency, and infrastructure, covering 20 subcategories. The rise in Seoul's global competitiveness this year was mostly driven by business efficiency and infrastructure ratings. In this year's rankings, South Korea jumped 10 places in business efficiency to 23rd, thanks to improvements in various subcategories such as productivity, the labor market, finance, and business management practices. And its infrastructure ranking also rose by 5 places compared to last year to 11th, on the back of strong technology, science, and education infrastructure. But its economic performance ranking fell slightly by 2 places and government efficiency by 1 to 16th and 39th respectively, mostly due to falls in subcategory ratings such as international trade and tax policy. As for other nations, Singapore came first overall, rising 3 places from last year, followed by Switzerland, Denmark, Ireland, and Hong Kong. The difference in the rankings of the United States and China this year shrank to 2 from 12 last year, with the US coming in at 12th and China 14th. Meanwhile, European nations such as the United Kingdom and Germany ranked lower than South Korea, with Korea overtaking Germany, which came in 24th, for the first time. An official from the Finance Ministry said that based on this improved ranking, the South Korean government will continue making efforts to further strengthen the country's global competitiveness. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
More foreign travelers are seeking Korea, not simply for its sights and sounds, but also for its skincare treatments, cosmetic procedures, and other health-related services. And our Song Yoo-jin says it's not just the quality of the services here, but also their affordability that make Korea a popular destination. Do take a look.
One of the great things about traveling is that it can make you a better version of yourself. Medical tourism, where people travel abroad for medical care, does this by improving both your inner and outer well-being. Korea has become a top destination for medical tourism over the years. Data from the Health Ministry shows that Korea welcomed a record high 606,000 foreign medical tourists last year. That's more than double the number from 2022 and the highest since data collection began in 2009. The most popular departments were dermatology, plastic surgery, and internal medicine. By region, Seoul City hosted 78% of them, with 1/3 who visited in 2023 coming to one particular district.
So the Gangnam district in southern Seoul, where I am right now, is renowned as the epicenter of Korea's medical tourism. And that's because it's home to countless beauty clinics, including ones that specialize in plastic surgery, dermatology, dental care, and hair restoration.
The Korea Medical Tour Promotion Association under the Culture Ministry recently held an event inviting international content creators and social media influencers to experience K-medical tourism firsthand.
I believe the key factors behind the growth of Korea's medical tourism market are the popularity of K-dramas and K-pop, which have made people want to visit Korea. Also, the country's cosmetics and healthcare markets have expanded significantly. We, as doctors, will work with these influencers to promote Korea's excellent medical services worldwide.
High-quality yet affordable services are what makes Korea's medical sector stand out.
The professional results and the doctors are really good, and also it's very, very cheap compared to other countries. I'm from Europe. The clinics there are highly expensive, so I think this is something that attracts people to the surgeries in Korea.
I would say accommodation. I think there's a lot of centers that offer multiple languages and interpreters as well.
Korea aims to host a total of 700,000 medical tourists per year by 2027. But what can be done to achieve this goal?
The global medical tourism market is expected to keep growing due to its high value. It's crucial to develop the unique advantages that only Korea can offer. The government is making continuous efforts to improve services to meet the needs of medical tourists, from their arrival to departure. We need to keep integrating medical services with tourism programs and increase support for these initiatives.
Combining medical care with travel, medical tourism offers a holistic approach to healing and well-being. 송유진, Arirang News.
And speaking of well-being, there has been a substantial surge in the number of cooking classes for foreigners here, as the global palette for Korean food, as well as good nutrition, if I may, expands. Our Cha Yoon-kyung has more.
Foreigners residing in Korea are wearing aprons and putting red pepper powder, garlic, and plum marmalade into salted cabbage before mixing it all together. They're learning how to make kimchi.
It was easier than I thought. I like this one, the cabbage one, pechu, and I also like the one that comes with fried chicken, the ones in the cube, the radish ones.
Foreign exchange students from the U.S. also made special memories by tasting the kimchi they made.
I think so. I think I'll try to make it for my family. This is my second time being in Korea, so it was nice to get to actually do this time. I would love to try to make kimbap or bibimbap.
I hope I can watch some videos and also use this experience to try to recreate the flavor that we did today.
This is a cooking class held in the Kimchi Museum. About 14,000 foreign tourists visited here last year, 40% higher than pre-pandemic levels in 2019. There were 4 months this year when more than 1,000 foreigners applied for kimchi-making classes.
There are lots of questions about kimchi ingredients like plum marmalade or where to buy salted seafood. Nowadays, lots of foreigners already have knowledge about various kinds of kimchi and make inquiries.
Food companies are establishing experience programs for Korean food, targeting foreigners interested in K-food. One place opened a cooking class making 겉절이 and kimbap, following a request from U.S. university students. A cooking studio by a different food company also holds a Korean food class given in English and Japanese. Rather than simply enjoying food-related videos known as mukbang, foreigners are now learning how to make Korean food by themselves. Cha Yoon-kyung, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, over in Germany, millions of football fans are in the country to celebrate the 2024 European Championship, and already riot police staff intervene in separate incidents of violent interactions among supporters of different soccer teams. Our Lee Seung-jae covers the confrontations.
The UEFA European Championships is one of football's biggest events, with the 2024 edition being held in Germany. And despite efforts by authorities to put a stop to hooliganism seen at previous tournaments, the opening round of the competition has already witnessed some violent scenes. Just before the Netherlands-Poland match on Sunday, a man wielding a pickaxe close to a Euro 2024 football fan parade in central Hamburg was shot by police. While authorities said the incident wasn't football-related, police are investigating the suspect's motive. Sunday also saw a massive brawl break out between English and Serbian football fans, involving 150 people before England's 1-0 victory. 1 English fan and 7 Serbian fans were arrested. Police say the fight broke out as English fans were trying to enter a steakhouse in Gelsenkirchen in western Germany. Although it's unclear who provoked the brawl, chairs and tables were being thrown, with several fans and at least 1 police officer injured. Police promised tight security throughout the tournament, with Islamic State having already called for attacks. With 2.3 million tickets sold for matches in stadiums across the country and some 12 million fans expected at outdoor viewing fan zones, German police say it will focus on the threat of terrorism, hooligans, everyday crime, violent criminals, and also cyber attacks. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Let's take a look at the latest news in the world now. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dissolved his 6-member war cabinet tasked with coordination of the conflict in Gaza following the departure of centrist opposition leader and former military chief Benny Gantz earlier this month. According to Israeli government spokesperson David Mencer, decisions on the war with Hamas in Gaza will now be made through the pre-existing security and full cabinets, which do not affect the Israeli Defense Forces' existing chain of command. After clashes in opinions, 2 former IDF chiefs of staff, Benny Gantz and Gadi Eisenkot, resigned on June 9th, with Gantz commenting that Netanyahu's leadership was preventing us from approaching true victory. Netanyahu informed ministers on Sunday night that the war decision-making body would be dissolved rather than bringing in new members. Israel's war cabinet was formed shortly following the October 7th attack by Hamas, when the then opposition party leader and Netanyahu's rival, Gantz, joined the coalition in a show of unity. Benny Gantz is now back in parliament as an opposition party leader. German prosecutors announced on Monday what they are calling the country's biggest ever cocaine bust. Authorities said they seized 35.5 metric tons of cocaine between April and September last year, worth some $2.7 billion from several container ships, and made 8 arrests following a tip-off from Colombia. As part of the OP Plexus operation alongside Europol, 25 tons of the narcotic were found at the port of Hamburg, while 8 tons were seized in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, and 3 tons were confiscated in Colombia. The cocaine was reportedly hidden among vegetables and fruit. 2 Germans, 2 Turks, and others from Azerbaijan, Bulgaria, Morocco, and Ukraine were among those arrested. Following a migrant shipwreck in the Mediterranean Sea off the Italian coast, 64 people were reported missing, while 11 were rescued, according to the Italian Coast Guard. The UNHCR, the IOM, and UNICEF released a joint statement saying that the shipwreck took place around 200 kilometers east of Italy's Calabria, involving a boat that departed from Turkey 8 days ago, which caught fire and capsized. According to the UN agencies, the survivors and missing people came from Iran, Syria, and Iraq. The German aid group rescue ship said that an additional 11 migrants died in a second shipwreck, where the group's rescue ship picked up 51 people, including 2 who were unconscious, and recovered 10 bodies trapped in the lower deck of a sinking wooden boat. The governor of the U.S. state of Maryland granted a mass pardon on Monday to 100,000 people with more than 175,000 low-level marijuana convictions. Democrat Governor Wes Moore said we cannot address the benefits of legalization if we do not address the consequences of criminalization, while stressing that the state's drug policies have a disproportionate impact on people of color. The mass pardon comes after Maryland residents voted in a November 2022 ballot referendum to legalize the use of marijuana by adults. While possession and use of marijuana remain illegal under U.S. federal law, 24 states have legalized the recreational use of the plant-based drug under local laws. Kim Seong, Arirang News.
Good afternoon. Today is no exception in terms of recent weather trends, with scorching temperatures under sunny skies. In fact, it will be hotter in most places, with heat advisories in place for parts of Gyeongsang-do and surrounding areas. And Miryang in Gyeongsang-namdo province could see a high of 36 degrees Celsius this afternoon. And sunny skies will beam down on us nationwide, so carrying an umbrella for UV protection is an excellent idea. Do not hesitate to walk around with one, even for men, to stay safe in the sun. It's going to be a long, harsh summer this year. Also, plan outdoor activities for cooler parts of the day. Seoul and even Busan could see a high of 32 degrees Celsius. Daegu and Gwangju, Gyeongju will top out at 34 degrees. After the mercury hits its peak tomorrow at 35 degrees in Seoul, numbers will try to go back to the norms. Meanwhile, Jeju Island will see rain from tomorrow into Friday. With that in mind, let's take a look at the international weather conditions.
Right, and those are the headlines at this hour here in Korea. Coming up next is our daily panel session.